Now, the Finance Bill 2024 is off the table. The President has scheduled to meet the youth. However, their response is, "We will come to you," with hashtag "Do not give Ruto an X platform renting the air." The youth have said they will not engage the President since their demands are already clear. My name is Brian Amuai. Welcome to the program tonight. This is K24 Evening Edition. But first, top stories tonight. Tonight on K24 Evening Edition. Calm gradually returning to Nairobi City after weeks of protests, with traders taking precaution by hiring private guards to protect their businesses.
The parents to Rex and the parents to over 40 Kenyans that lost their lives in the past 2 weeks, they don't need any explanation. What they need is justice.
Calls for justice for protest victims intensified during the Requiem Mass to celebrate the life of Rex Masai, who was fatally shot dead by police officers during the anti-finance bill demos. Also tonight, 361 people injured, 627 arrested, 32 forcefully disappeared, and 39 people killed during the current anti-government protests.
Tusitishe maandamano, turudi tena tuketi chini kama vijana. Sasa turudi sasa vizuri kama tumejipanga kabisa, tuepuke mambo ya hooliganism, mambo ya goon. Bado serikali bado tuko na nyinyi, we still put you people on toes.
And Gen Z youth now vow to regroup and protest on Sunday in line with the Sabasaba spirit, calling on fellow youth to come out in large numbers to subdue goons' infiltration. Now remember, you can be part of the program tonight by engaging us on our socials. That is at Amuai Brian on X, at K24 TV. We are also live on Facebook and on YouTube, and we do welcome your feedback on those particular social platforms. We'll be sampling some of it as we continue with the program tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Walter Asewe. Let's begin. Now, calm is gradually returning to the city of Nairobi after weeks of protests that rocked the nation. However, traders were today seen taking precautions by hiring private guards to protect their businesses from vandalism witnessed in the past. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has further noted that Nairobi County has experienced significant revenue losses as a result of the protest. He has also distanced himself from any involvement in financing criminals using the protest as a cover to cause destruction. David Kagina reports.
The atmosphere remained calm in Nairobi today amid the anti-government protests calls, with businesses operating cautiously. However, in some buildings, young men wearing reflective jackets and carrying batons were seen patrolling. Joseph Mutiso tells us that he is part of this group, their role being to protect the business premises from thugs who have been hiding behind the Gen Z protests.
Matajiri wametuita, wametuambia tuchunge kazi zao na tuweke amani. Hata kama watu wanaandamana, waandamane ni peaceful way, lakini si kuguza mali ya watu.
While he supports the protests, he is critical of some of those who are taking advantage of the situation. His temporary job pays him at least 1,000 shillings a day.
Sisi hatutaki kushughulika na wale waandamana au tuwapigane au tupigane nao. Pia sisi tunaunga mkono, bado tuungane kwa amani. Sisi wote tupate kazi na haki yetu ionekane.
Claretta Gaki, one of the leaders of the Moi Avenue Business Community Association, explains that although there was no announcement of protests, they took the precautionary measures of hiring private security to avoid losses.
Front shop, kama uko na duka moja, unalipa 1,000. Like me, I have 3 of them. Nimelipa 3,000. Tuko na vijana over 50. Tumewambaia rungu na reflectors. Tumeweza kumotivate pia our soldiers wetu wenye mnaona hapa, na pia sisi wenyewe ndio tuweze kufungua kazi. Kuna wale watu among us wenye wako na manduka, tumemotivate ndio pia wakuwe kwa ground waweze kusaidia vijana juu unajua pia hatujui tensions za hawa vijana juu ni vijana wa area tu. Hatuwezi waachilia kazi peke yao, lazima kukue pia na watu wa ndani wenye watakuwa wanajua ni nini wanasema.
The Nairobi business owners have further claimed that the thugs are being funded by politicians within the county. However, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has denied any involvement, attributing the protest to significant loss of revenue to the county government.
I would hate it that something like that would have been planned from City Hall, from wherever it is. Normally when you're in such a situation, the first casualty is the truth. And when the first casualty is the truth, opportunistic politicians even try to bring themselves into such, a move to taint their opponents, And so if somebody would try to claim that I, the governor, was meeting people to plan violence in City Hall, while one, I was in Diani, number one, with my cabinet from Sunday. I've just come back this morning. And number two, I have always believed in siasa safi. I've always believed in that freedom of expression.
President Ruto is expected to hold a virtual meeting with the Gen Z youth tomorrow, with business owners expressing hope that a solution will be found and businesses can continue without fear of protests. David Kagina, K24, Nairobi.
Now, travel operations along the busy Nairobi-Mombasa highway at Emali town were grounded to a halt after youth blocked the road during the anti-government demos today. In video circulating online, several protesters were seen looting property from a supermarket. In Kitengela, Kajiado County, police disarmed youth possessing crude weapons masquerading as security guards to protect business premises attacked by goons during Tuesday's protest. As our reporter Electin Odera now tells us, youth in Kisumu County have vowed to continue with the anti-government demos.
As has been the norm of youth turning up in large numbers to participate in anti-government demos recently, the numbers today were different. Only a handful turned up, characterized with looting of property. In Emali town, Makueni County, for instance, travel operations grounded to a halt as protesting youth barricaded the busy Nairobi-Mombasa highway. A shop alleged to belong to a politician in the area was not spared either. In Kitengela, Kajiado County, police disarmed youth in possession of crude weapons, masquerading as security guards to protect a popular joint in the area. The more than 30 youth, armed with rungus and brand new pangas, maintained that they had been hired to protect the entertainment joint. The police said the youth wielding pangas were a security threat. Elsewhere, most businesses in Kisumu City remained closed for fear of possible destruction and looting of property. Most schools within the city did not open either, with heavy police presence in the city streets. Residents, however, vowed to continue with their demonstrations until President William Ruto addresses their demands.
Leo tumekaa tu, hata hatuna kazi tunafanya, tumekaa tu tukiangalia tu.
Najua mama ndiye anajua uchungu ya mtoto. Na kuzaliwa Ruto ajue ni bahati. Sasa tumelose hii age yangu 30 kurudi chini, tumelose watu wengi sana. Na feel kama pia yeye feel kama ni mtoto wake angekuwa naona, angekuwa nasikia aje.
And in Kisii, Governor Simba Arati faulted the police for allegedly failing to act promptly to contain goons who looted property during Tuesday's protest in the town.
We can deal with those leaders at the right time, because when you want to touch down those houses, know that their children are innocent children, they are innocent people in those compounds. Let us not try that.
He further faulted the authorities, blaming them of irresponsibility by hurling tear gas canisters at the referral health facilities intensive care unit and children's ward.
There were 30 injuries which were reported in the hospital. 22 are still in the wards. 2, they are due for theatre. 2 had gunshots. And the rest had the beatings from the goons.
Pockets of demos were also witnessed in Migori County today. Electin Odera, K24 TV.
Now, despite calling off today's protest, the Gen Z have vowed to regroup and protest on Sunday in line with the Saba Saba movement. Now, this is to tempt paid goons infiltrating their peaceful anti-government protest. They have urged fellow youths to come out in large numbers to subdue criminals. As Mariam Jahid now reports, a section of the youth on the Express have disregarded President William Ruto's meet-up on Friday, asking him to address their grievances to the letter.
Bold because politicians see Mungu.
The Gen Z have seemingly put on hold anti-government protests following infiltration by paid criminals to disrupt their peaceful demonstrations. Case in point, last Tuesday protests. Affirming that they are still ready to hold accountable today's government, they have urged their counterparts to turn up in large numbers on Sunday in line with Sabasaba protests.
Stations have been infiltrated by goons, and the way forward has to be more numbers to overwhelm these goons. With Sabasaba, we need numbers. This is going to be one of the historic events.
In light of the anticipated Express meet-up with the president today to address their demands, the same has been pushed to Friday. However, youths now say that they are not ready to have a sitting with the president, asking him to implement their demands to show goodwill.
I believe that these people ought to have a space prior to the Express with the president so that the views of the people can be collected. And now those people who are going to now speak with the president are going to now just go and platform and forward all of these views to the president.
Members of the Communist Party of Kenya, led by George Kiritu, have further asked President Ruto to wait to be invited by them and not vice versa.
You aren't traveling anywhere anymore, so you should be able to meet us at our own time.
On the other hand, Karimi Josephine has called on the government to act tough rather than look for their audience in social media spaces.
I don't think the president will tell us anything new, because hizo interviews amekuwa tu double down akisema the finance bill is good na ni kama scare tactics wakisema sasa ju finance bill haijapita mtakasikia sasa.
However, it is emerging that there is a division among the youth, with some saying they are ready to have a sit down with the president to express their demands.
Kwa hii maandamano yetu ya Gen Z tulikuwa na yale maneno ambayo ilikuwa ina concern wananchi wetu wa Kenya. Our fellow Gen Zs wa accept dialogue na Mheshimiwa Rais.
Kwa mimi nita-attend, nitakuwa ndani. Siwezi kataa. Hapo pia mimi nitatoa maoni yangu na pia yeye nitasikia maoni yake yenye anatoka wadani.
Mariam Jahid, K24, Nairobi.
Right, we'll be following on that tomorrow just to see what happens when from 2 to 5 the president is on X addressing the youth who say they will boycott. From that, a requiem mass was held today to celebrate the life of Rex Masai, who was fatally shot dead during the anti-finance bill demos, with calls for justice for Rex and other victims of protest renting the air. Now, the church has also been called out for turning a cold shoulder on the young people when they needed them the most. And as Bentura Kwamboka now reports, the public is calling on the judicial system to expedite justice by bringing the alleged killer cops to book.
Friends and families gathered today at ACK St. Stephen's Cathedral in Jogoo Road in a somber mood to celebrate the life of the first victim of police brutality during the recent anti-government demos, Rex Masai, who was fatally shot dead by the police.
But you must also be ready for a quick and violent judgment.
In a moving tribute recounting the last words shared, describing the pain of losing a son, the mother, whose tribute was read by Masai's aunt, recounted the tragic end of a life so young, snatched through police brutality.
May the Lord teach me even how to delete your number in my phone. I don't know how to delete your number. Good night, my teacher. Good night, my love. Good night, Rex, till we meet again.
Describing him as a person of integrity and compassion and one who stood against misuse of power, his grandmother said his grandchild's death is a stark reminder of the price paid for fighting for justice.
I thank you, youth. I'm asking you to continue to fight for justice for all the children. Let God give you strength and give you power. Stand for justice for those who died. God will give you power.
While presiding over the Requiem Mass, the church has strongly condemned President Ruto's utterances on victims who were brutally shot during the protest.
During the presidential roundtable, he was asked Mr. President, what do you have to say about the police killings? They mentioned Rex specifically. My president said he will try and look for the parents and explain to them. The parents to Rex and the parents to over 40 Kenyans that lost their lives in the past 2 weeks, they don't need any explanation. What they need is justice.
However, in a turn of event, the church has had itself to blame for turning their back on the young people when they needed them the most.
Let me tell you why I'm saying it as it is. Because the people that brought and introduced the president to us in church are now quiet when the church is when the nation is in chaos, when people are being killed, yet they are the ones who brought him to the church.
Further, the masses are calling for prosecution of the alleged killer cop who pulled the trigger on Rex.
The day familia Rex, majenzi wataka kwa koti, naone ule karau alimada Rex face to face. And the real justice ni sazile judge atahukumu jamaa for murder.
Rex Masai was allegedly shot during the Occupy Parliament protest and died minutes after being taken to Bliss Hospital in the CBD. He will be laid to rest tomorrow at their family home in Machakos County. Bentura Kwamboka, K24, Nairobi.
Right, the message there clear. Fight for justice for those who died, from his grandmother. Now I want to read a comment here. Japheth Mbui says, following Brian, we will be back. The rotten system must be uprooted until the president starts uprooting the rogue civil servants. It is not over until it's over. That is Japheth Mbui on Facebook. Thank you so much for your feedback. We do want to take a short break here on Evening Edition. We'll be back in a moment with more stories. Don't go too far.
Wapwani